Okay, welcome to the second part of Aparavi's classification videos, easy to use classification tools. So let's take a recap from the first one. So um, Aparavi classification policies, that's in the first video, and how to enable the policies and how to locate your policies. Today, we're going to look at finding classification data and how easy it is. And then in our next video, coming very shortly, is how to create your own custom classification policies. So what are the key takeaways? We want to show you how easy the Aparavi classification engine is. So it's the most comprehensive and complete set of global policies in the market today. So we will make sure that you understand how to enable these policies and how to locate your policies. And then, of course, how to locate high-risk data types when it's brought into the system. And then, of course, on the next video here, we're going to show you how to build your own classification policies. So with that said, let's take a look. So finding data on, in the Aparavi platform is really easy to do once you have your policies set up. So what we can do here is start at the dashboard. Of course, the dashboard is set up so you can easily get some quick analytics about your data. So when we click files, we're going to go in and we're going to do a quick search of classification policies so we can see the data. So when we click the magnifying glass up here, it's going to bring up a query, and this query has a bunch of search facets down here. So once we click on by classification, we will see a list of the classification policies just by clicking a number here. So let's just choose the US personal data policy and hit save and see how many files we can actually find. So looks like there are 564 files that have some sort of US personal data privacy into it. So the way we actually can look at this is a couple of different ways. We can look at the different views here. So these are they get more detailed, or icon views, or if you go into the actual contents themselves, and if you were doing a search for a specific word, when you hit this button here, that would actually show you the different the verbiage that's inside the file. So when we click on the details here, this is where we can actually get the information about what the file classifications are. So once we click the details up here, the little 3 lines with the check, and then we click on one of these files, you can see that it's 100% certain that there's personal data policy information in this particular file. And if I just continue going down each one of the files, you'll see that each one of these files, all 565 of them, have some sort of personal data privacy built into them based on the classification. So in order to actually see that, obviously, is you'd have to go in and build another fine facet, maybe you don't want to kind of cull that information down. You may want to go in and do a builder where you can actually add classifications, starts or contains. We can just do personal, and then we can add another one based on, let's just click on save here, and then we can do this, and we can say it contains context of any that contains, say, the word file, and then we can hit save here, and we'll hit save and see how many files we actually find. So we can see 4 files that have 44 files. So it's going through, it's looking for all the different files. So we can actually see that the word file is inside this document. And if I click on this document, I'll see the personal data policy. So again, we can see all the information, just continuing to build, find facets and locate data quickly. I can always go back to return and build another. I can continue to add conditions in here to where I can filter out the information as well. So if I wanted to add some, say, metadata here, I could say contains, let's just say 16.000, because this is a Word document. Not, actually, let's do this. Metadata contains txt, and see if that'll find something here. So let's just find out. Still looking, and it doesn't look like it found anything, but that's because there's nothing there for that has txt. So you can actually get to the point where you added too many different conditions to where now you're starting to get rid of information. So we can take this one back out, and we can do the save again, and then we can find our 44 or so different files again, right? So we could go in and say, let's look at, some of the metadata here, and then we can do a search here. So the metadata here would be, let's just grab this one here, which is the creator, which is a random name. So if I just grab this, and if I knew that that creator was there, I can go in here and add another condition that says metadata along with the classification. So then we can say contains, and then I'm just going to paste this in, and then I'm going to do a save, and I'm going to see if I can find those files again. So it looks like I found one file, two files. Okay, so let's see if we can find this. So here's our personal data, and then here's our author. So there was two files. So as you can see, if you continue to add find facets, you're going to be able to cull down your information to get down to a more relevant data set. I mean, two files isn't very much, but when you're looking at, millions or billions of files, it's to have the ability to add find facets with classification, add some of the metadata fields, do contextual search, so you can look at data that's inside the files as well, because Aparavi does maintain all the metadata and all the index of a file. So you typically would never even need to access the file again unless you needed to delete it or send it to someone or open it to make changes. So anyway, let's do our quick recap here. So what we've actually done today is looked at the classifications. Again, is the key to successful data governance, and being able to find the data once you've classified it is a key element of your data governance strategy. Again, you saw how easy it was to build queries of the database to look at the information of any of the contents of a file, any of the metadata tagging that we've done based on like the classification. You can search for any of the metadata fields that are there. We did that with that author of that file, and we culled down our files from 44 files down to 2 just by adding that second metadata field. And then in our next version, which is part 3 of this classification, we're going to look at how to build classification policies.